Now, what do you do with prophecies when you receive it? You see, rules of engagement is particularly very important when it comes to the move of God all the time. We all have to make sure at a corporate level and at the individual level that we are aligned with God's will and purpose for our life. Fruitfulness in all areas of your life is a function of full understanding and spiritual understanding of the will of God concerning you in that area. You need to ask yourself, what do you bring on the table? God did not create this world to serve it. He created this world that the world may serve it. We were made for it. You've got to be crystal clear about His will. And that's why the apostle was praying for the people of Colossians, understanding that these people are full of the love of God, they are full of faith, they were walking right, but there's another level, a higher level that they need to come into an understanding of for them to be productive. And that higher level requires an understanding of the will of God for your life. Not only do I have to understand God's will in its entirety, end to end, I need to have a strategy, a spiritual strategy in place for the execution of the will of God. That's what he meant by spiritual wisdom, the application of that knowledge. So the will of God not only needs to be received, to be understood with all clarity, it needs to be articulated, it needs to be documented. We've been studying the book of Jeremiah, saying, imagine how Jeremiah is writing down his interactions with God, because there's no way he could have meticulously executed what God was asking him to do if he didn't write down, if he was not motivated from it. He has to be motivated. So writing, articulating, according to Habakkuk 2:4, write the vision down, let it run those that read it. Don't it tarries, wait for it, for it shall come to pass. That's an instruction of God to Habakkuk. You must learn not only to seek God in the Spirit, but to write down your experiences each day. A lot of you know how to pray. You can pray for 1 hour, 30 minutes, or whatever. I don't know what you do, but let's just assume you pray for even 30 minutes, and you say a lot of things within that 30 minutes, right? Did you write it down? Because tomorrow, you've forgotten what you said yesterday. So some of us are expressive, we are emotional, we talk a lot, we cry a lot, we do all of those things, we shout a lot, but that's where he ends. We say many things, you just pray now. If I asked you, what did you pray in tongues? You said a lot of blah, 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 blah in tongues. What did you say? Do you ever stop to think for a minute, what am I saying? What does the Spirit of God say? Take, for example, we got prophecy, so many prophecies, I think it was in the month of December. If you ask me what I said, what Pastor T said, what the other young lady said, I will tell you word for word what they said. Word for word. Everything that God said in that prophecy means womanliness. I said, well, what do you mean womanliness? Well, it's simple. He said, your word, a wave of apostleship, revivalist, a mantle, lost generation, impacting a whole nation. It will require separation, and it's a season of speed. That's what it means. Now, if I remember worldliness, and I know what each of those characters stands for, I know the instructions of God. Your neck is your word. In this season, I see a heavy evangelism. A mantle is coming upon you. It's heavy. It's bringing all the lost generation to you. There's no note here. Where is it? It's in my heart. Now, what do you do with prophecies when you receive it? The Bible says you check it out with God. That's the next thing. And if you don't know that, again, you're a time waster. Secondly, how do you execute? You've got to translate each of those things into goals. Smart goals. Performance appraiser. Goals needs to be smart oriented, specific, measurable, achievable, result oriented, and time oriented. You've got to translate into goals. Each of those words would have goals. How do I cast my net? It's an instruction of God. He said we should cast our net. So how do I do that? What does that mean in real life? God needs to trust us. His standards are high. And with each of us, He relates with us differently depending on what level you are at. To some of us, we are servants. He holds us accountable every step as king's men beside Him, to reign with Him. And with that comes a huge responsibility and accountability. It is possible to do a good work and not be fruitful. But when the will of God is understood, articulated, and strategized, spiritually strategized, you will be fruitful. One day while I was seeking His face, He shocked me to His bone. So you can't just sit down here with me. You have to take the word, my word outside. He shocked me to my bone. He said, God doesn't change His mind concerning you. He's not human that He should lie. If He set out to do something with you, that's what He sets out to do with you. He can crush you many times. Think about everything I said. Meditate on this thing. Give yourself wholly to them, so that profit shall be seen by many.